I miss regular Republicans. I miss regular Republicans like who.
Hey, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but those regular Republicans that believed in states' rights and small government never actually existed. This is who they always were, and I can prove that really quickly. And this actually has a lot to do with why Trump supporters feel like he tells it like it is, or he cuts through the BS when really he's just being a racist, or a homophobe, or a fascist, or a bigot, or whatever it is on any God given day. See, those regular Republicans you're talking about that like states' rights and small government and lower taxes are also known as conservatives. And the conservative voters and politicians fled the Democratic Party following the 1960s. Why? If you guessed the Civil Rights Act, you'd be correct. Now let me introduce you to George Wallace. George Wallace was a conservative Democrat from Alabama who served as the governor of Alabama. His most famous slogan was segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. George Wallace left the Democratic Party in 1968 to run for president, and this was the 1968 electoral map. Notice the states that voted for George Wallace. See, to Democrats, those 10 million voters that flipped 5 states for George Wallace were lost causes because of George Wallace's racist policies. But to Republicans, they saw an opportunity. They wanted to know, how do we get those disaffected conservative votes? And that's where this man comes in. Lee Atwater, American political consultant and strategist for the Republican Party. He was the developer of something called the Southern Strategy, which he described in an interview in 1981. Don't worry, I'll read most of it. You start out in 1954 by saying, by 1968, you can't say that hurts you, backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. You're getting so abstract now that you're talking about cutting taxes. And all these things you're talking about are totally economic things. And a byproduct of them is that blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we are doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut this is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than. Okay, fast forward, we're back in the present. We've had 50 years of the Southern strategy now. Ann Coulter's biggest fan here is kind of correct. Conservative Republicans were being thought controlled. They were being forced to talk about things like states' rights and cutting taxes and forced busing. They weren't allowed to talk about the things they wanted to. See, the racism, the bigotry, the cruelty, that was always the policy. It's just that Trump cut through the abstract BS and told it like it is.